Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Cleanup efforts still underway following this year's Carnival Juve. And later in sports, Jamaica ice hockey team looking to defend Challenger Series title. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carrie Simpson. Here are the details. President of the Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, Linvern Wright, has given his support to the Jamaica Teaching Council JTC bill. But he, however, cautioned that it must be complemented by other actions to improve the education sector. O'Shane Masters reports.
The Senate on Friday approved the proposed law that will formally establish the JTC, which will regulate the teaching profession and issue licenses. The legislation, which has been pending for more than 2 decades, is to be debated in the House of Representatives. Mr. Wright says while the bill will improve accountability within the education sector, it will not resolve the many challenges that teachers encounter. He called for politicians to give the same level of enthusiasm to fixing the issues as they have the JTC bill.
So, for example, if we're talking about professional development, in our education system now, the technological support is very weak. So, for example, while there might be some computers, software availability to teachers to actually access many of those things that would assist learning, not there. Financial support is weak. We have been working for the last so many years, for example, in the secondary system with the same amount of money, $17,500, to support children in particular things that will happen to them. We still have a problem with what we think are political appointments because we're talking about quality. Morale could be affected by things like that. Infrastructural inadequacies. There are so many schools that got the conditions under which teachers are working and principals are working. All of those things are problematic.
Mr. Wright was speaking yesterday on Beyond the Headlines. Now at a virtual meeting convened by the Jamaica Teachers Association on Sunday, some educators expressed discomfort with the JTC bill, which proposes to introduce provisions that distinguish between registered, licensed, and authorized teachers. It will also introduce a fit and proper requirement, including criminal background checks for people seeking to enter the teaching profession. A subsequent post on social media suggested that coming out of the meeting, educators were encouraged to wear black and march on the Kingston and St. Catherine offices of the JTA. The parliamentary opposition will also hold a press conference this afternoon, at which time it intends to highlight concerns with the JTC bill. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
More schools and communities in St. James are set to benefit from expanded bus services from Montego Bay Metro. Details in this report. State-run Montego Bay Metro has expanded its services to new routes in western Jamaica. The new routes are Lucy to Negril as well as downtown Montego Bay, Green Pond and Cornwall Court areas. Nashula Lavery is acting general manager of Montego Bay Metro.
The experience has been very good. There was an influx or flock of students and adults coming on the buses this morning because the fares are extremely cheap. So what would happen is that typically coming to Green Pond High School from downtown Montego Bay is $140, and our fares are $50 for children, the disabled, seniors, and for adults it's $100. So because of the discount in fares, we have got a good turnout this morning.
The Metro now has 20 buses. Students from Green Pond Primary and High Schools, Farm Primary and Junior High are among those benefiting from the expanded service.
We have been engaging with the PTA, the stakeholders in the community, the principals for the respective high schools. In this region, we have approximately 4 or 5 schools, and we will continue with our dialogue with the community. We'll be advertising in the media to ensure that stakeholders are aware of the services that we're providing here.
Member of Parliament for St. James Central, Leroy Clark, lauded the expansion. He also addressed concerns about competition with taxi operators.
The taxi operators should see this as a support system and not a competing system. We are not competing with the taxi. What we are here to do is to provide that support system, because on many occasions would see where the rain is falling. People want to get to where they want to get to on time in a safe and comfortable situation. And that's all JUTC is about this morning and onward.
The Clarendon Social Development Commission SDC is urging community stakeholders to step up and engage, warning that continued division could lead to further breakdown. Parish Manager Baldwin Mackenzie laments the challenge of getting key stakeholders to the table for critical decisions is hampering efforts to address urgent community issues. Sandy Williams reports.
Communities in Clarendon are crying out for a comeback from crime, among other things, and Parish Manager for the Social Development Commission, SDC, Baldwin Mackenzie, is calling on stakeholders to get involved before things fall further apart. Speaking at a recent leadership forum held at Sings Quarry, Mr. Mackenzie didn't mince words. He hammered home the point that too many groups, from churches to justices of the peace, are busy doing their own thing while unity crumbles. He is urging JPs especially to step up and stitch the social fabric back together.
JPs is not a challenge because we're too busy. I don't know why you call JP in the first place. If you are too busy, because the community will have a problem. We are saying to JPs, we need you to get involved in the community process. If it's even 1 hour per month, that's fine.
Mr. Mackenzie believes that communities with strong ties among their leaders tend to enjoy lower crime rates and better development outcomes.
Because the criminals, when they observe that the people are together, they take for themselves from those spaces. Somebody asks you, do you want to get rid of them out of your space? Let us come together.
But getting stakeholders together at the same table remains a heavy lift.
So the CDC encourage all the stakeholders working in a community to come together, to work together for the betterment of your community.
He is also challenging agencies and organizations to build bridges, not barriers, calling for stronger partnerships with the Community Development Committees, CDCs, to tackle the real issues head-on. Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
A story now from rural China where the fortunes of a community have been transformed thanks to the reinvestment by the state is the story of Madu. Our reporter Dwayne Anderson visited the Chinese community and filed this report.
These are the rarely seen faces in China, but now they are the poster children of rural area regeneration in the country. Billions of dollars have been spent to lift rural places like Madu out of poverty. For contrast, this is the type of shack they used to live in, made from mud and thatch. Now they live in modern homes with 21st century amenities. Ming is a leader in the community.
Firstly, it's about the road. It used to be the muddy road, which is not convenient, and nowadays it came to road, you can see that. And second is about the house here. And now we can see that there's no big difference between the rural places and the urban places right now because our environment is so clean.
Their quality of life has changed. They are now living longer. I was greeted by some of the smiling faces of some of the community's oldest residents.
Most importantly, the happiness index is highly now. Not also about the housing, but also the income. It depends on our income is become larger. So we have more income, so we live a more happy life.
The community still relies on traditional means to earn, namely farming.
We take advantages of the policies, and nowadays we do not only cultivate rice, and nowadays we even plant the fruit trees. So that's why the farming is becoming better.
The state has also invested heavily to safeguard their livelihood. This channel helps prevent flooding in the community, but also guides the volumes of water needed for their farming.
因为经历黄河，在我们村里其实最早的时候有一个叫鱼米之乡，除了养鱼就是种大米。
And because we are located along the Yellow River, that's why we have the advantages in cultivate the rices. So it is also called the village of rice and fish, which represents the booming development here.
Reporting from the manufacturing belt in Henan province in China, I'm Dwayne Anderson for TVJ News.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says as part of efforts to meet the high demand for more affordable housing, the government will be increasing the pace at which ground is broken for housing projects. Speaking at the recent groundbreaking ceremony for the Brookside Estate in St. James, Mr. Holness said the programs that were put in place have been working.
The government's housing policy is very thoughtful. It is very strategic, and it is working. We will be able to be breaking ground from now to after September. Every other week, we will have our groundbreaking from now till after September and beyond.
He is appealing for patience.
So to my fellow Jamaicans who are concerned, reasonably upset, that for decades you have not been able to get your house, the strategy of the government is working. We are increasing the pace at which we deliver housing to Jamaicans. So once we increase the pace, meaning once we address the demand, the supply side of the issue, and we support the demand side as well, you're going to see the formal market for the creation, development, and construction of housing overtake, replace, and eliminate the informal housing sector.
The Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, says cleanup efforts are still underway following this year's Carnival Juve. Several areas were left stained with paint early Saturday morning. Homeowners and business operators in the affected areas have expressed frustration over the mess left behind by Carnival revelers. Many say their properties were defaced with paint. Town Clerk Robert Hill confirmed that his office has received numerous complaints.
This has been a vast improvement in terms of the cleanup of the painted areas that were inundated, particularly coming from the complaints from residents along the route that the Juve persons marched. There are still some areas that need attention. We did an assessment just tonight, and we realized that some carpet places are still marked with the Juve paint in the New Kingston area, generally speaking, and in Halfway Tree as well.
Road signs. Road signs as well.
And road signs, directional signs have been impacted by paint, so we expect that the organizers will take heed and have that rectified in the shortest possible time.
It's time for a break. Stay with us, more stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
General Accident Insurance Company has reported a sharp decline in profit for the year ended December 31 last year, despite posting strong growth in insurance revenue. According to the company's consolidated statement of comprehensive income released yesterday, insurance revenue surged by 33.2% to $11.43 billion, up from $8.58 billion in 2023. However, higher insurance service expenses and significantly larger net expenses from reinsurance contracts held, which more than doubled to $4.34 billion, weighed heavily on overall profitability. As a result, the company recorded an insurance service result of $248.9 million for last year, a steep 64.3% decline from $696.1 million in the previous year. And a congressional watchdog agency will investigate President Donald Trump's efforts to dismantle the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB. The probe by the U.S. Government Accountability Office is in response to Senate Democrats' demands that the agency's acting director turn over information about how the Bureau can still meet its statutory obligations amid attempts for a mass layoff. An appeals court said on Monday the administration could not proceed with mass layoffs at the CFPB while it reviews a lawsuit challenging Trump's efforts to dismantle it. The D.C. Circuit Court will hear those arguments on May 16. For the Business Minute, I'm Shane Masters.
Time now for the top stories from around the world. In the region, Guyana's deputy political leader of the main opposition, United Workers' Party, Delbert Paris, has announced his resignation from the position 4 months after being elected to the post. The resignation is with immediate effect, but Paris will remain a member of the party. It comes after Paris supported the electoral reform bills that the government had tabled in the parliament on March 19 this year, when police had to fire tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse opposition supporters who had been protesting against the measure. He has been under pressure since the passage of the Electoral Commission Act. On the international scene, Mark Carney's Liberal Party has won the Canadian election. In his victory speech, Carney tells supporters President Trump is trying to break us so that Americans can own us. That will never ever happen. It remains too close to call whether he will secure a majority in Parliament or will have to rely on other parties to join. Defeated Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says hard lessons have been learned. And those are the top regional and international stories. And we head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.